He was the king of political law enforcement corruption in Mexico.
Carrillo was famous for the idea that if a load's lost, you kill everyone connected with it. That way you get the traitor.
He said that someone had to get their hands dirty for the sake of Mexico, and if that meant moving drugs, well, let's move them.
September 29, 1989. It was the largest seizure of cocaine the world had ever seen. Over 21 tons with a potential street value in excess of $7 billion, discovered in a warehouse in Sylmar, California. Boxes of the narcotic had been stacked 8 feet high alongside bags filled with over $10 million in cash. After confiscating the largest shipment of drugs ever, investigators discovered that the drugs had entered the United States via a bridge that connects El Paso, Texas, with the Mexican border community of Juarez. And while most law enforcement officials wouldn't learn his name for several more years, they were already experiencing the influence of a mysterious Mexican drug lord named Amado Carrillo Fuentes. His rise to power and ultimate demise offers a rare glimpse into the narco-political underworld of Mexican organized crime.
He says, I want to tell you a name. I go, okay. He says, Amado Carrillo Fuentes. And he said, I want to tell you one other thing. Never say that name out loud.
He was the king of political law enforcement corruption in Mexico.
There was a time when Amado was moving drugs in old commercial airliners, moving it by the ton. You know, 10 tons of coke, pure Colombian coke, in a passenger airline. That's how he got his nickname. El Señor de los Cielos, Lord of the Skies.
The 2,000-mile expanse of the Mexican-U.S. border has been attracting smugglers since before Prohibition, when men delivered whiskey to the thirsty patrons of Texas and Arizona. Marijuana was a drug of choice in the 30s. And after World War II, recovering GIs addicted to morphine created an enormous demand for heroin. For more than a century, Mexico's traficantes have catered to America's changing appetites. Smuggling activities are often coordinated from the state of Sinaloa, long recognized as Mexico's marijuana and heroin heartland. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration has even given the region a special nickname.
A lot of the drug guys come out of that area. It's very poor, you know, it's a lot of ranchos. And so DEA calls it Jurassic Park, because that's where the prehistoric monsters come from.
Charles Bowden is a journalist and author. His book, Juarez, the Laboratory of Our Future, takes a critical look at the forces shaping modern Mexico.
You have to understand, Sinaloa has always had a bandit culture, hereditary. It's, you know, an entire state with a Jesse James ethic.
Indeed, the tradition of smuggling is so strong that the region has its own patron saint. Jesus Malverde was a bandit at the turn of the century with a Zorro-like reputation for helping the poor. After his execution by government forces in 1909, villagers began to attribute miracles to the bandit martyr. Traffickers often visit his shrine to have bullets blessed or to thank the narco saint for their good fortune. It was